Um, so I figure we would do some of the ones that we've done before today, and then we may bring in one or two new ones. That way it's not too much new stuff, but we've got a little bit of a foundation to work with, since we've done a couple of sessions where we've done a number of new forms. Everyone here, you all have been in at least one of the classes before, right? So
I don't think so.
we have
Kimberly, have you been to any of the Tai Chi classes yet?
No, I have not.
Okay, we do have one person.
Okay, well, hello, my name is Rachel, and let's see, I won't give a really long speech about it, but we're just going to be doing some different forms, which are sort of groups of movements, and we're going to put those together in our class today. And we're going to do these over and over time, and we'll get really good at them, even if they're awkward at first. And once we really get the hang of them, we'll be able to kind of move from one form into another, and it'll flow. But we're early on, and we're all still learning all of them. So I guess that's kind of the short and sweet version. Nothing should hurt. Nothing should make you feel strained. If something that I'm saying to do hurts, then don't do it, or make a smaller movement. But those are the important starting things to know. We'll work on our breath and the movement. Work on the movement first. Once you feel comfortable with that, work on integrating your breath with it. That kind of thing. Let's see, but I want to say all the pieces so we understand it as each comes up.
Thank you.
And let's see, I guess we will start today. I still don't feel like I'm too close to my computer, with the commencing form. And that's the one where we start with our hands on our laps. So palms down on our laps. And then we slowly straighten our arms in front of us, and we raise our arms up with our hands hanging limp until they're about at 2 o'clock if we're looking to the side. And then our hands come down slowly back toward our laps, fingertips last. So with our palms facing forward till we're back to our laps. So I'm slowly raising my hands up now. They're about level with my shoulders. Now they're going on up. I switch my hand position so that my palms are facing forward. Fingertips are slowly coming down. They're about shoulder height now, and slowly working their way back. And now they're to my lap. And so we just do this and slow our breathing down. I'm raising back up again while I'm talking. And I'm almost to 2 o'clock. And then palms facing outward. And my hands are coming back down toward my lap. Fingertips are the last thing to come down. So does that feel comfortable? That's usually our beginning form, where we slow our breath down to get started and to calm down. So the next one that we will do, let's do broadening one's chest. And so here we start with our hands on the lap again, and our hands will slowly come up in front of us, and then they'll open up to the side, and we will have our arms at 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock with our palms facing upward. So I'm slowly moving. My hands are now at the 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock position, and they slowly start coming back up and coming down. So now that I've described that, we're going to start raising our hands back up, breathing in, out as the hands come out to 3 and 9 o'clock. Breathe in as our hands come back up, and then out as our hands come back down to our laps. So we'll do that a couple more times. So hands are coming up, breathing in, out to the 9 and 3, breathing out. And then we'll come back up with our hands, and down, we're breathing out again. So hopefully those are ones we've done before. So I was going fast. Please interrupt me if there's any question about positioning, or if there's any confusion about what to do on those poses. So the next one we can do is dancing with rainbows. And this is very similar to the last one, but our hands, I'll describe it first so that we're not stuck in the middle of it. We start with our hands on our lap again. And in this situation, when we raise we're going to have one hand come up, palm facing upward at the 3 o'clock position. The other hand is going to come up overhead, and our palm is going to be, in this situation, my right arm is extended with the palm up, my left arm is up, and my palm is sort of facing my right ear. So that's dancing with rainbows. Once we get to that position, we slowly make our way into this position. And then once we're here, we slowly switch to where the left arm is extended with the palm facing up, and the right arm is overhead with our palm facing our left ear. And so we'll start, I guess, because I was trying to just describe it so that we wouldn't get stuck and our arm is just sitting there, and it gets very tired if we do it that way. So we'll start with our palms on our laps. So as we come up, we want both arms to come into this position at the same time. So my right arm is at 3 o'clock, palm facing up, other arm is overhead. Then we'll slowly move and switch those arms. And we want to breathe in on one side, breathe out on the other side. It doesn't really matter which way. And I'm slowly, now I came back to the right side, the right arm is extended. And as I'm talking, I'm slowly moving my arms, and now my left arm is extended at the 9 o'clock position. And the whole time the other arm is going over my head, as I described before. So I'm back to the right side. And this is about the speed we would do it. So slowly moving, and then we're all the way extended to the left side. So we'll do this a couple more times. So I'm slowly switching my hands overhead, and the right hand is extended, left is over left hand near my ear, and slowly switching to where the left hand is extended, right hand is over my ear. And then we'll come back to the hands in our laps position. So yeah, please stop me if anything is confusing or any of that. So the next one, I think we did this last time, scooping from the sea. So this one, we start with our hands on our laps, but we're gonna reach in front of us as if there's a bucket of water. If we can bend our backs, we want our backs to be straight. We can reach forward with our hands and grab from maybe a creek in front of us. If we don't want to bend that far, there's a 5-gallon bucket in front of us. When we reach in front of us, our hands will straighten, come forward as if we're going to reach into this bucket of water, put our hands together where our fingers overlap a little bit, like we're trying to actually hold water in our hands. And then we are going to bring it up kind of close to our chins, close to our faces with our hands still cupped, and then switch our hands to where our palms are facing outward, close to our shoulders. So now we're in this almost like I surrender position with our palms facing the wall in front of us. So from here, we slowly reach back down. We're just going to scoop from the sea again, scoop from the bucket or whatever we have, slowly raise up. My hands are getting close to my chin now, and now my hands are opening up. They're close to my shoulders. So I'm going to scoop again and tell you where I am. So I'm bending slowly, putting my hands down. My hands are overlapping and touching, slowly raising them up toward my chin. And then my hands come apart and my palms are facing outward. So let's try this one more time, where I'm going to bend, reaching my hands down, put the hands together, start raising them up toward my chin, and then separate where my palms are facing forward. If we're thinking about how to breathe in this one, we would be, as we slowly bend, we're breathing in, put our hands together, start exhaling, and then as we're coming up, inhale again, and then exhale kind of as we get into position. And before we start again, it kind of happens slowly. So I'm breathing in as I reach, get the water, exhale, come up, inhale, and then get into position and exhale as I'm getting into the surrender position. Okay, so one that we will do now, and I don't know, we may have, I can't remember if we talked about this one before, is punching. So we're going to put our arms at our sides. Our arms are bent at 90 degrees. So we're going to start with both hands in fists. Arms are at our sides, close to our rib cages. Fists sort of facing the wall in front of us, and palms are down. And here's where we're going to start. Now we're going to flip our left fist upward. So now the fist, like if we opened it, our palm would be facing the ceiling, but that one is upward. And we're going to punch forward slowly with our right hand while the left is facing upward. As soon as we are fully extended, we're going to switch the direction of each wrist, and then our left hand is going to be facing down as we punch forward. And so now my left hand is fully extended, right hand is back at my rib cage, and that palm is facing upward in the fist. So, and we're not going to stay here very long. We're going to reach out, extend, and then slowly switch. So in this one, we just take our breaths in and out as we extend, breathe in, and then exhale as the other hand comes out. So I'm doing this now. I've got my left hand extended. I'm turning, switching my fists, punching the right hand forward while the other comes back to my rib cage, the forearm, and then I switch. This is about the speed that it is. That's why I'm trying to get us at our proper speed so that everyone understands if you're doing this about. So now I'm extended again, switch, and we just slowly switch. So for that split second, we're in that fully extended position and switch. And we make that go along with our breath. Does that make sense? Does everyone feel comfortable in that? Does anyone have any questions about what we're doing? I can't see you all, so I'm asking to make sure everyone feels like they're understanding and they're in the position.
So question, when your elbows are at your sides, your fist is pointing downward. If you open your hand, your palm is down, right? Or is it switch? I don't.
Okay. So we start off with both of them down just so we're on the same page. But as soon as we start pushing, say our right hand is palm down, starting to go forward, the right hand is palm up. I mean, the left hand is palm up. So if the right hand is palm down, the left hand is up. So, and we rotate and switch so that as the right hand is coming in, it is palm forward, and then the left hand is palm downward. So they're always opposites.
Once you're engaged in movement, when you're extended, either arm, when you're extended, the palm is down. When you return to your side, it's up.
Correct.
Okay, gotcha.
And you start slowly. It's not a quick rotation. It's a slow rotation as soon as you've reached that fully extended place. As soon as that fist is fully extended, you start to slowly, as you pull that one in, rotate it as you bring it in, and the other is rotating as you get it fully extended.
Okay.
So there's not a rapid movement there. It's very slow as you're in a flowing process, and they're opposites pretty much at all time, because as they're rotating, one is rotating up, one is rotating down. So only when we're just getting ready to go are they both facing in the same direction. We're palm down, then we just lift them, and as soon as we start moving, we start working with opposites. As soon as we start extending that right hand out, if we're starting, we rotate the left up. So it just, hopefully, it just flows continuously there. How are we doing on time? We're doing pretty well. Okay. So I did punching. Another one we can do is bouncing a ball. So this one, we're going to have our palms down. I'm focusing a lot on trying to do the hands on our lap position first, because we have some where we have our hands in a ball position. We'll get a couple of those in at the end. In this one, we're going to do bouncing a ball where we have both our hands down. Now in this one, we're going to, it kind of is like a marionette puppet. We're going to do a thing where we have our hand hanging limp. We raise our hand in front of us to where it's level with our shoulder, to where it just comes straight out from our shoulder, fingers hanging loosely down, relaxed. As we raise this hand up, our knee comes off the ground on the right side too, just a little bit off the ground. And we just work with balance here. And so as soon as we have it up there, we slowly raise it up just a little bit. I'm maybe 6 inches up, but as long as you're exercising your balance, you're good. As soon as we put that foot down and that hand comes back down to that side on our lap, the other raises up. So we're hand hanging limp, arm comes up to shoulder height, and our foot comes off the ground and our knee raises up. So, and we're keeping it at about the 90-degree angle. We're not raising our foot. We're just lifting that knee off to work on our balance a little bit, and we flow it down. And so in this one with our breath, we inhale as we raise up. So I'm raising my left knee and my left hand, slowly putting it down, my weight shifts, and I start coming up on the right side and I start coming down. So we just switch, raising the left hand and knee a little bit, coming down, raise the right arm and knee, coming down. We'll do a couple more. Raise the left side, come down, and then raise the right side and come down. Did that one feel okay? Do you all feel good about that one? That one was kind of a new one, but that's the only one where we really get our legs involved.
I like that one, especially when I sit all the way forward at the edge of the chair and sit up tall. It gives me more challenge of balance.
Mm-hmm. That is true.
Feels good.
Yeah, when I'm at home practicing, that one can also be really fun. Some of these, if you really want to challenge, you can do it on one of those big fitness balls. And that one, you really have to stabilize the other leg when you're sitting on one of those big brown fitness ball things. It's fun to kind of try out different things, different ways to do these seated poses, but that one will add another dimension of balance to it. Okay, so let's do Repulse the Monkey. That's another one that we have touched on before, and this one is one where we'll start from a ball position. So I've got my right hand on top, my left hand on the bottom of our imaginary ball. It's about the size, I don't know, a volleyball or like a kickball that people would play with, or something like that, like one of those small, like a ball that you would play with, like a soccer ball, something like that.
Good size antelope.
Yeah. And our hands are always relaxed, fingers apart, like nothing is tense in our hands, but we're just holding this ball here. And in this situation, our bottom hand is gonna switch positions. It's gonna come up and come out to, right now my left hand is on the bottom, so it's gonna come out and up on the left side. It's gonna come up, I guess at about 2 o'clock with my palm up, kind of thinking about like if you were holding a tray of food almost overhead, like, but then once you get there, your palm is kind of out and up, fingers are relaxed. The other hand comes down, and I'll go over this again and I'll describe it differently. As that one comes up, the other hand comes palm down, the palm stays downward and comes down beside us on our right side. So we've got one hand up, like kind of like the little teapot game, and the other hand is down. So again, we're working in opposites, with the left palm up, right palm is down, that right arm is extended, and we face our left hand. So we want our nose kind of pointed toward our middle finger in this situation. So once we're in that position, we come back into the ball slowly to where now our left hand is the top of the ball and the right hand is the bottom of the ball. And so once we're here, and this is a continuous slow movement, you'll raise the right hand up. You begin turning your head. You begin pushing the left hand down at our side. Our left hand comes up kind of 3 o'clock. At first it's kind of 3 o'clock when you start coming up. Then it comes up to the, I guess, 2 o'clock, between 1 and 2 o'clock position, and nose is facing that middle finger. And then at this point, you start turning back to the center, and the hands come back into the ball, and you're facing forward again. I hope that made sense. Every time I describe this, I start coming at it at a different angle. But hopefully the angles are making sense, because you start coming up, you rotate the hand outward, you come up to the 2 o'clock position, the other hand is down and fully extended, elbow is soft and not straight and locked, but mostly straight. And then we come back to our ball. I'm trying to think of all the dimensions of it. And so then we'll go back. The right hand is coming up, facing that nose pointing toward the middle finger, and then we come back to the ball. So it's about that speed, just kind of slowly reaching up with the left side now. That's about the speed. And then slowly coming back, moving toward the ball. Now we're in the ball. And then the right hand goes up, facing that side, and then slowly turning back to the center and back in the ball form. Did that feel okay? It's hard to do this without the feedback of seeing if what people are doing matches up with what I'm saying. But please tell me if anything doesn't feel right or seems awkward, and I can help.
I think I'm getting mixed up. When you get back to the ball, is it your lower hand that goes up next?
Yes, the bottom hand is always the one that comes up, but when that hand comes back, it'll then be the top of the ball. So then the other hand is then the bottom hand that's ready to come up. And I think about it also as the one that is palm, the one where your palm is up is the one that goes up, and the one that is palm down is the one that goes down when we're doing this motion. And that kind of helps me remember which hand is which as well.
Yeah, okay.
Because you can follow your palm that way, and the palm that's up, you start turning and reaching up, and then when it kind of rotates as you're coming down to where this is ready to be the hand that's on top of the ball. So then your hands are ready when you come back to the center, your palms are oriented where they're going to go. And that's how I started and thought about this one. So hopefully that's helpful. So another one we'll do, let's do brushing the knee. And this one will also be in our ball. So if our right hand is on the top of the ball, we're going to do basically a stop sign hand straight ahead. So we're going to open that hand and come straight out to where our palm is facing the wall in front of us at shoulder height. So that height, while our left hand is palm down parallel to the floor, and we bend a bit forward, and that palm is just by our left knee. So like it's by the left knee and then pushes down from there just a few inches. However, you can comfortably kind of bend forward with one palm forward and that palm down. And then you come back in, and the palm that was forward is going to be the bottom of our ball. And so now my left hand is on top of the ball. So then that one, I go palm forward, reach forward as my right hand is palm toward the ground, just a few inches from my knee, and then I push down from there. I bend at my way, I bend kind of at my hips, and my spine is still straight, and I lean forward when I'm putting my palm forward. And so then I come back in, and now my right hand is the top of the ball when I come back. So I straighten up, do all this at the same time. So I'll extend my hand, leaning forward, other hand toward knee, pushing down. And then I slowly come back to the ball with the other hand on top. So now my left hand is on top, and I'm slowly pushing forward, bending forward, palm down on the right side. And as soon as I'm there, I'm slowly moving back, and I'm back on the ball. So back to the ball. So with the breath on this one, as I reach forward with my palm, I'm doing that now, reaching forward, inhaling, and then exhaling as I come back in and I form the ball. So if I'm reaching forward with my left hand, I'm inhaling, other palm going forward, going downward, and then back into the ball. So I'm trying to help demonstrate the speed of it. Sometimes I get so caught up in the description that I'm not showing you the proper speed of it. So I'm trying to focus a bit more on that, and so that we can understand the speed. And when we put more of these together, we'll be able to just flow from one to the next. So another one that we can do, we've got, okay, I will wind us down a bit, is spreading our wings. So we'll start basically in prayer position, palms together close to our sternum. Our thumbs are kind of touching there. So when we start to do this, we're going to straighten our elbows with our palms still together, and our fingertips are pointing at the wall in front of us. So our hands kind of shift to where our thumbs are kind of facing the ceiling, fingertips pointing at the wall in front of us. Then we open our arms and our palms are coming apart. We're at 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock. And sometimes I go back a little further and give my shoulders a little stretch, like I'm squeezing a pencil behind them. So my palms are still facing forward, thumb pointing, like thumb is sort of toward the ceiling, and reach back. And then I'm just slowly coming back together. Palms come together. Mine are together now. And then bend the elbows. So I'm back in prayer position. Now this is done very slowly, like at the pace of your breath. So if I'm starting now, I'm gonna hands forward, fingertips forward, slowly opening, slowly opening, slowly opening. Now I'm at 90. And then I immediately start coming back in, palms are together, and then back up into prayer position slowly. And here I am. So we do it at this pace. I'm still going to move while I'm talking. So arms extending out, then coming out to our sides. I think of this like you're about to give somebody a big hug that you haven't seen in a while. Until then our palms come together, and then slowly we're back to prayer position. So we'll do this a couple more times where fingertips pointing forward, arms open up, open, open, open. I give it a little squeeze, and then come back together slowly and back, thumbs toward our sternum. So we had done that one before, and I really like it as a wind down position. And we'll do, let's do a couple more. So we've got fly like a wild goose. This is one where it's like the first one that we did, the commencing position, except we're going to raise our arms up at the 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock position at our sides. So we're going to lift our arms up with our hands hanging limp. So our fingertips are the last thing up till we get to about, I guess what would be a 2 o'clock position. And then we switch and our palms are facing outward, palms facing the walls beside us. Fingertips are the last thing down, and we slowly sweep those downward. So then we're going to lift up, with our fingers hanging limp, lifting, switch. And now hands are facing our sides and they're coming down, 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 and I'm all the way down. So we'll sweep up one more time, wrists coming up, hands hanging limp, raise them up, switch to where our palms are facing outward and coming down to our sides. Okay, so hopefully that one, I enjoy those. Those are good cool down ones. The next one we'll do is pressing the palms. And for this one, I will say our hands are starting on our laps. Now we're going to put our hands facing upward. And it can be a little awkward. My fingertips overlap a little bit, palms facing straight up. My elbows are still bent. They're just, over my lap in front of me. I breathe in and I slowly raise my palms up toward about my chin level, but in front of me. Turn them, and then palms are coming back down toward my lap as I exhale. And this is one, if we're going to do a meditation, it's really nice to make sure our breathing is slow and relaxed. So I'm coming back up with my hands and flipping them here. Palms are going down toward my lap. So we'll inhale, palms will come up toward about chin level, rotate. Exhale as they come down. And we can do one more. Palms coming up toward our chins, and then rotating, and then palms coming down to our laps. Okay. How did y'all feel about that one? I think that's all we'll do before we do a short meditation. Did you feel comfortable with that? Did it make sense? Did it feel better or more comfortable on the repeat ones?
Yeah, that last one, I found it easier to match my breath to the motion than maybe some of the ones that are more, where you're extending your arms and things.
Yeah.
I have a question though, is keeping in mind that people are, people like we're beginners and you're more advanced and stuff like that, but do you measure, like, do you have like, when you're practicing Tai Chi, do you have like a certain number of like repetitions you do, or
I try to do about 4, but I may cycle back through, because if you do, if I'm by myself, I try to not do more, like 6 is too much. So 4 or 5 is good if you're practicing by yourself. And if you're having trouble figuring out about the timing of breath, when I started out, I would count to 5.
yeah.
I would count to 5. So I would take a breath in at about 5. And then as I was doing that motion, I would try to be fully extended into whatever that particular one was. And then count to 5 as I slowly come back to center, whether it's the ball or hands to the lap area. So that's how I started kind of working on those parts of it, is I would kind of count in my head a little bit, and that would help me with the timing and making sure I wasn't just rushing through.
And so you do about 5 repetitions of each form, and then how many forms do you do together at one time?
There are days that I do up to 20.
Woo!
Yeah, like 20, 23, something like that. However, if you rotate through, so if you do 4 of something, as we're building basically our vocabulary of movement here, you can do the ones that you know, that you like, that you feel good about. You can rotate through, 6 of them and just do that a couple of times. So do 4 of those, rotate through it, and then do those again.
Mm-hmm.
And you're still doing it. You're still getting that that movement and practicing on the flow. So it's still very good. And as we build up, we'll get quicker at the ones that we're doing, and it'll become more, it'll happen quicker, and we'll be moving with our breath, and there won't have to be those pauses between. But I don't know how we can't have those pauses, because I just want to make sure everyone feels comfortable, and I don't want to run off and leave everyone, or I want to at least make sure that we kind of understand and we're all doing the same thing. Or if I've said something that sounds, or if I've misspoken, even, that I want to make sure that we're all caught up before we go into the next thing. So that's why I'm doing that. But normally we wouldn't need to stop in between like that once we really get going and once we've kind of built up.
Yeah, I'm curious about people who practice, Tai Chi as a, as a relaxation and so forth. Like, how many times do you do it? Like morning and night, or? Because right now I do it once, about 40 minutes every 2 weeks.
Oh, Um,
But I'd like to more integrate it into my life, and I'm wondering what kind of, and I know I might have to build up to it, but I'm just wondering, what do people normally do? Is this a morning and night kind of thing? Like you might do crunches or something, or?
you can, I mean, here's what I wouldn't hold yourself to doing this like every day for 30 minutes a day as just a standard, because we want to build up to it. It's kind of like yoga. If you do 5 minutes every day, it's better than doing an hour once every week or two.
Yeah.
So it's good if you can even just take a few minutes and start off doing it. Maybe if you want to do it morning and night, that's good. It's a good wind down before bed activity. That's when I enjoy it most. But some people wake up in the morning and that's their favorite time. But I would say choosing a time that you're going to do it, that you're going to stick with, because that's what matters most. Is if I say do it in the morning and you're not a morning person, then you're not going to do that.
Actually, I was joking. I have found myself doing a few of the forms. I found myself doing it when I'm waiting for something,
it is good when you have little breaks. Yeah. That's really good. So now if I'm like, I'm going to take a minute and do this, sometimes if I'm stressed out and I'm thinking about stuff and I can't get myself wound down and I know I need to go to bed, it is a good thing to do before you go to bed, to slow your breathing down. Because sometimes the act of doing something where you slow your breathing down will slow your mind down. It will slow those thoughts down. And I find that an incredibly helpful tool in this. And that's the most useful thing that I have found in doing Tai Chi routinely, to be honest, is just having that, creating that little thing where I'm not snowballing in my mind, where it just kind of picks up speed and gets really stressed out. You kind of have a tool that you can use to pause that from happening. But you can do it any time that you'll consistently do it is the right time for you. That's what I would say for sure. Okay. Do you all have time for a 5-minute meditation? If so, we can stop the recording, since it'll be another YouTube video.